This is the first painting that I created in 2024, and this is the first painting that I created in 2025, and I can definitely say that there is some really good improvement. Now, it's not as great as, say, someone like PewDiePie's art improvement, which I think is insane, but that's okay, I am still happy with it. Now, to see how much improvement I have actually made, you need to look at these two paintings side by side. I think the improvements are pretty obvious. Like, look at the eyes in the first one. Look how flat they look. Like, where's the volume? While in the second one, it's so much better. Like, it is better. Look at the hair in the first one. It looks stiff and hard, and the rendering is also pretty bad. I'm not saying the second one is perfect or anything, far from it, but I believe this is a good sign. This means that I am on the right path. In the past year, I have tried a lot of things with my art. There were things that worked for me, and there were other things that didn't work for me. I saw success and I saw failure. But the important thing is that I learned a lot, and I will be applying everything that I have learned so far to this year and in the next year to come. So let me share with you the things that you should do and things that you should avoid if you actually wish to improve your art and not waste your time. And the first thing that I want to talk about that I think has had a very negative impact on my art is procrastination. Do you know that feeling when you have got something to do, but you just keep delaying it for the whole day and nothing gets done? Yeah, that procrastination. And I'm kind of a pro at it. I can't tell you how many hours I have wasted just scrolling on my phone, thinking that I need to draw, but I just keep delaying it. It's not that I don't want to draw, I really do. But it's just so hard sometimes to give myself that initial push to go sit on my chair and start drawing or do anything productive. And trust me, procrastination is one of those illnesses that doesn't fix itself. So how do you fix this procrastination problem? The way I am trying to fix my problem of procrastination is basically by giving myself small goals. For example, for this year, I have given myself a task of drawing 1 hour portrait every day for the next 365 days. That means by the next year, I will have at least 365 portrait paintings. Now, painting 1 hour per day is not much, at least for me, but it at least pushes me to stop scrolling and go sit on my chair and do something productive. And I believe that it's been working for me. Well, this is how I am trying to fight procrastination. And if you have any tips on it, please let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate some help. Now, this directly brings me to my next point, which is that if you wish to improve at art, then you should aim to draw every day. Now, there are artists on YouTube who argue that you should not be drawing every day. I have not seen those videos myself, but I personally think that drawing every day can be pretty helpful towards meeting your art goals. That the 1 hour portrait that I talked about in my previous point doesn't just help me fight procrastination, but it also helps me complete my goal of drawing every day. I say this because one thing that I have realized about improving at art is that numbers are the most important metric. The more art you produce, the better you will get. Mileage is everything. Now, you might say that you don't have the time to draw every day, and I would say that I don't believe you. Are you actually telling me that you don't even have 1 hour to give to something that you actually care about? If not an hour, then maybe 30 minutes. And if your answer is still a no, then I would argue that maybe you are not actually interested in improving at art. Because if you wish to improve at something, you first need to be interested in it. Now, the next thing that I think I didn't do enough in my previous years, but I will be doing a lot this year, is master studies. This means studying other professional artists that I personally admire. Master studies, I believe, are one of the best and fastest way to get better at art. If you want to be the best, then you study the best. That's how it works for any skill. Now, the purpose of master studies isn't just to improve at painting. You can do it anyway. Just pick up a bunch of references and draw a lot. The purpose of master studies is to learn to see and interpret the world in a more artistic way. If you are drawing from a reference and copying it one-to-one, then there's nothing interesting about that. And normally in digital art communities, nobody really cares about hyper-realistic digital paintings. Why is that? Well, because it's boring. Just think about it. There's an endless possibility for the kind of art you can create, an endless way you can represent the world through your art, and you choose to just copy. That's boring, and boring art isn't going to get you far. And that is one of the most important things that I have learned so far. So if you wish to become a better artist, you must learn to be creative. Now, what exactly is creativity? Well, in artistic terms, I would say creativity is the ability to take a boring idea and present it in a more interesting way. Well, that's what I think it is. And creativity is a skill that can be learned, and you learn it by studying the people who are already good at it. Now, let me give you some examples of artists that I personally like to study and tell you why I study them. Rosdraw is one of my favorite artists, and I like to study his art because I really admire the way he creates his compositions. The shape language in his art is just amazing, and I would like to incorporate it into my own art. Sam Does Art is another artist whose art I really enjoy and like to study. I really like the way he creates his portraits. The subtle value shifts, the stylized lighting, and a wonderful combination of soft and hard edges are what fascinates me the most about his paintings. Now, there are many other artists I can name, but you get the point. So make sure you include master studies in your art routine. It will do a lot for your art. So now let's talk about something that you might have heard a lot, which is studying the art fundamentals. I don't think I need to stress how important the art fundamentals are. Like, they are the building blocks of art. You can't imagine getting better at art without studying the fundamentals. I think the best way you can study the art fundamentals is by learning to simplify complex shapes into simpler ones, simplify complex colors into simpler colors, simplify complex values into simpler values, and simplify complex compositions into simpler compositions. Everyone wants to create the most beautiful and the most complex art possible, but they forget that to understand the complexity of something, you must first understand it in its much simpler form. There's a lot I can talk about fundamentals, which I won't be doing in this video because it's a vast topic which requires its own separate video. Now, there's just one last thing that I would like to add. Making art is not the only way you can improve at art. Observing and consuming art content is as important as anything else. What I'm trying to say is that if you have time to scroll on YouTube or Instagram, you can instead use that time to look at more art content, discover more artists, look at art process videos of pro artists, and observe and try to understand their decision making. This will not train your arm to draw better, but it will train your eyes to see better and also improve your understanding of art. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you found this helpful. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.